More specifically, what we have entered into is another bull market of this here blockchain industry, this blockchain, this cryptocurrency market. And bull markets, bear markets, they're a natural part of any healthy market. You go up in value, and then things are overvalued, they crash back down. Now that whole process of crashing is the bear market, and then you rise back up once more, another bull market, and these things happen on different time scales. You can see this happen on the micro, where this is going on a daily time frame, a weekly time frame, a monthly time frame, yearly. It all is about how you look at it. But we are in a bull market right now, arguably for damn near everything, but we're in a bull market specifically for crypto and blockchain. So what does this mean for people? Basically, what it means is another opportunity has arisen where people can invest their money into a market where the returns are likely, this is not financial advice, likely to be higher than a lot of other assets that people might be fixated on because of historical precedents, because of fear, because they're uncomfortable with it, because they lack the knowledge, which is why native assets exist, But the thing is, underlying all of that is there's a belief in value, right? Value transfer is going on. So when the price of Tesla goes up, it's because a lot of people think this thing is valuable or they think it's going to make them money. They're speculating, so they put money into it. And now its market cap grows, so it's worth more. And then it's just kind of this self-fulfilling prophecy. And without, once again, getting too deep into it, the Bitcoin halving happened last year. And so the mining reward got cut in half, or the block reward rather. And so now there's less Bitcoin created every time a block is mined, is solved. And so it's reminding people of the scarce nature of it. And I really suppose this whole conversation is really just about trying to remind people that there are different ways to improve your position financially and monetarily, right? I'm not sure about you, but historically, most of my life, the idea of improving my financial situation came through means of, okay, I got to either work more hours or work a job that pays me more. Have you found it a similar experience for yourself?
Yeah, that's usually what it is. Just work 16 instead of 8, or just don't sleep on a weekend on a game day, make a couple grand. Or just dislike your job and work for the same rate and have to figure something else out, or just not have the money.
Yeah, or cut expenses. That's something that people do. That's often a good place to start.
Definitely, but there's not a whole lot of things that you can be doing. You can be doing one thing today and another thing tomorrow, and be in a different spot monetarily.
Yeah. And I just raised that point up because I think a lot of people, and I feel this has changed a lot in the last year, 2 years. People have more time to sit at home, study, do research. Obviously, most people will be familiar with what happened with GameStop and AME and AMC, all this other stuff. But investing, I think, historically has kind of been mystified and occulted as this thing that you can only do if you have oodles and oodles of money, millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars. And I think that's rightly so, because once upon a time that was the case. For you to get exposure to a certain asset class, for you to be able to get into a certain fund, or even be taken on as a client by certain family offices, financial managers, wealth managers, whatever, you had to make a certain amount of money annually and be able to prove that through your taxes. And most people aren't in that boat. So most people just say, oh, okay, well, the investing I'm going to do is going to be go to my job, sign up for the retirement plan, and then hope I earn, 1.5% a year, for the next 30, 40 years, and that'll be enough for me to retire on. Now, the beauty about compounding interest is it's going to grow. It'll snowball. But the way those vehicles are usually structured is that they minimize risk. And so by necessity, they have to minimize returns. Because to be a highly profitable investor, you have to try to look for asymmetric upside. Opportunities that have more room to grow vertically in terms of appreciation than they do downside to collapse. And typically the investments that make people more money are the quote unquote riskier ones, until they're not risky anymore because they've been de-risked by so many people entering the market or becoming so widespread that now you lose risk and you lose the upside magnitude of its appreciation, which is why we're such a crazy impasse with this Bitcoin, this cryptocurrency, and this blockchain stuff, because there's a halving every 4 years, right? And that's Bitcoin drives the entire blockchain market, crypto market. It just is in terms of the financial side. And eventually it will be prominent enough, it'll be widespread enough. And I'm not saying it's going to take over the whole world. It could. I'm not saying it will, but as it gains more prominence, the fact that us even sitting here talking on this podcast, this thing's been around a decade. I wasn't talking about this when we were in high school. You know what I mean? So every time we go through this bull run, more participants come in, more people who are on the fence are convinced. I became convinced in 2017. That's when I got into the market. And I stayed in it ever since then. I feel like this is the first market you jumped into now. And so then 4 years from now, or 3 years from now, when it's popping again, you'll be able to step back and guide some people if you so choose. Just like, oh yeah, so you just coming in? Come on, let me show you the way. Let me show you what I've learned in this time. And so that being the case, people have a unique opportunity to make some investments, no matter the size, whether it's $1, whether it's $1 million, whether it's $1 billion, and see upside that you will be very hard pressed to find in any other industry, realm. You know, I don't know off the top of my head. Do you know how much Tesla went up since like March of 2020?
No, I made some money on it, but I have no idea.
Okay.
I know that it did. I mean, right around the time when when Elon was when they were talking about that truck.
We kind of
bumped. Yeah, we kind of bumped the Tesla truck and
stock split.
Yeah, and then people also started, kind of leaning in when SpaceX started to play some games and do some things. That's also an interesting thing that we should talk about on another podcast. But no, I have no idea where it's at right now.
I'd seem way more credible if I knew this stat off the top of my head. But point is, it went up a lot, like a few 100%, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. However, still pales in comparison to some other assets. Bitcoin is up. When it was around 60,000, I think we're like 53 or something right now.
Or 50, I just looked at it before we got on here. We're at like 53.2.
Right. When it peaked out around 58, around that time frame, I don't even think it was necessarily that day, but it was up 9,000% since March of 2020. And some people know this, some people don't. I don't know the exact figure. It's in the tens of thousands, if not the millions, literally no exaggeration. But Bitcoin is the best performing asset in human history ever recorded in terms of returns. That's going to go down. So until then, there's some money to be made.